Hey everyone, AYBL Maine here. Sorry for the delay. I've had a couple days off here and I needed to get some rest for my health. But I wanted to jump back into my series of top five albums for every year that I've been alive. We've now hit 1981, starting to get into those really like formative years of your childhood where music really starts to influence you a little bit more and you start to buy your own material quite a bit. This was kind of that year for me in which I was kind of starting to buy 45s and some albums and even some cassettes, were becoming kind of prominent. So definitely in my top five for this year, Geils band Freeze Frame. Has some great hits on there like Centerfold and the title track itself, but also like Rage in the Cage I really enjoyed, and Angel in Blue. Really different sound for them compared to what they did in the 70s. They definitely were trying to mesh a little bit with what the new wave was doing for the 80s. But a solid album. Definitely should check that out if you want to. Also, my top five is Rush's Moving Pictures. I think that's kind of like an obvious one. Every time sometimes you just look at a year and you go, yeah, that album is definitely there. If you're into prog rock at all, if you're a big fan of good drumming, you definitely want to check out this album. Neil Peart's at the top of his game. Tom Sawyer is an absolute classic. I can listen to that, and the polyrhythmic drumming on that is just so fantastic. Put those headphones on, and you'll really love to listen to that track. Also in that year, The Police, Ghost in the Machine. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Spirits in the Material World. Great stuff. I don't like it as much as Synchronicity, obviously, but it is a solid album and definitely in the top five for me for that year. So definitely give that a listen if you want to. Also for that year is the Go-Go's Beauty and the Beat. Go-Go's just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm not sure they had enough material to warrant that, but I guess they were an important band in the 80s, and I really did like their album. And my wife liked it so much that she stole it from my collection and she listens to it on her own. So maybe I'll have to buy myself another one at some point. But it's got We Got the Beat on it, and Our Lips Are Sealed. Great tracks. Back then it's like tracks were 2.5, 3 minutes was about the average, and Go-Go's were really the staple of those quick songs. My number one for the year though was a band that really, I think, is the quintessential like 80s pop band for me. I think very, very, very underrated. It was Men at Work's Business as Usual. Colin Hay is a fantastic songwriter, fantastic musician. That album is just great. It's got Who Can It Be Now? It's got Down Under and Down by the Sea is kind of an underrated track for them. I would listen to their entire discography if I were you. And if you get a chance to listen to Colin Hay's acoustic work, on his own with some of his solo material, check it out. He does a acoustic cover of his own song Overkill that is just great. But Business as Usual, I consider, when I think of 80s pop, I think of that album right away. So it's number one for my year of 1981. As far as the best album that people told me that I would love but I actually didn't, it was Genesis Abacab. I remember the song vaguely being on the radio, but I didn't realize that it was such a long track actually on the album, and that the rest of the album still had that progressive rock elements that they had in the 70s and stuff that I guess I really wasn't quite taken to until I started to go back a little bit. But this album itself, this was the one where everybody said I was going to love it, and I actually I haven't loved it that much at all. I've listened to it twice, and just haven't really got that feel that everybody thinks I'm going to get for it. So probably going to get a little bit of hate on that one, but that's okay. I mean, these are just my own personal things anyway. So I hope everyone's going to have a good weekend. I've got a couple more tennis matches tomorrow to kind of kill some time, but I'll be back for my 1982 probably on Sunday. You guys take care.